Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Stud and Dud presented by the Dallas School of Music. Look at that pretty banner. Thank you all for listening. I'm Josh Smith. Each week, Dr. Bob Lawrence. I can't even get it right. It's been a few weeks. Yeah, we're still alive, people.
You're rusty.
A little hiatus we went on, at July 4. We'll tell them why here in a minute.
Right.
You have a great story. We're just talking about it.
Right.
But we're back, people. We're back. Glad you stayed tuned.
Hey, it makes them long.
Yeah, you
us.
gotta. Yeah, hey,
come on.
Makes the heart grow.
Right. Absence makes the heart
grow fonder. There
yes,
you go.
Man.
Time to catch up. We got another catch up round 2 today. We definitely have some catching up to do on the things we missed out on. My women, they pulled it off. The women's, they won the World Cup. Beautiful soccer. So we'll get into that just briefly. Nadal versus Federer. I sent you that. They played again. I'm telling you, when you're talking about tennis, now I'm telling you that is 40th time they played. We'll get into that. Go over all the NBA trades that we're going to get into. Well, obviously a couple weeks ago, but man, trades, the free agency
Shockers.
stuff. Yes, exactly. British Open is on hand. The Open is on hand, and someone did not make the cut. So, and of course, Doc's favorite, the Midsummer Classic. We missed that last week as well with a home run. We'll get into that. Also, in the coveted
You're rusty.
Rusty. Yeah, super rusty. Also, in the coveted stud or dud segment.
You should have been practicing when I was gone.
I should have. Yeah, well, yeah, at the Open, I did. But after, I want to make sure I didn't want to stutter into that Open. Okay. And then, of course, ever since then, it's just going to be Stutter City. We have another, we have to go to the Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
All
because
right.
they
we
did
have
30,
to go there?
Well, they have to because they did a 30 for 30, and they get a little more in-depth, and I'll talk a little bit about it. And something that's major, a 50th anniversary we have to go over that is tomorrow. And that's Super Studs right there. But first up, where you been? How you been?
I've been great, man. Been traveling. Been all over, man.
Yeah.
Been in Atlanta, Georgia with Gardner playing some ball.
With how many kids? Well, tell us briefly.
All right, here's the deal, man. This is like the World Series of high school baseball. So, of course, and it always takes place.
Talk about a Midsummer Classic.
Correct. And, of course, it always takes place after the College World Series.
Mm-hmm.
So these teams are invited from all over the country. You have to be invited. Your team
also, too, right after then the draft, because you're talking about all these scouts are now here.
That's right. So your team has to be invited to this tournament.
Yeah.
It's not a thing where you just sign up and show up. No, your team has to have qualify. So there's 400 teams from across the country.
Lots of teams. That's a big bracket.
Oh my god.
Lots of mini brackets. Is it lots of mini brackets, I'm guessing?
Well, yeah, the pool play is played all over the city of Atlanta. All over the city of Atlanta,
That's crazy.
And 8,000 boys.
What's it remind me of? We'll get into it. The World Cup. Where the kids are playing these
pool
plays all over France.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
It's a great analogy.
Love this.
So, but when you think about it, as we were talking before we started the show, you think about the funnel effect that happens in athletics. That 8,000 boys sounds like a lot of boys, right? But think about that. 8,000 boys, maybe 2,000 other boys across the country playing on teams that didn't get invited or didn't qualify. So, 8,000 to 10,000 boys that are still at 16 years of age playing competitive baseball.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's a small number.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
Right, compared to... And
it's awesome to see that, too, when they show the numbers of the MLB and how they're dwindling, or especially American, players are dwindling. It's great to see that there's still a lot of kids that are playing the sport. You don't get my point, even if they're not American kids, but you get my point when they show they're playing NFL now, or they're playing football now, or they're playing basketball now. Like baseball slowly, baseball slowly kind of dwindling on the sports center.
Right.
That's great to see kids at that age playing.
Correct. But even, my point being is that you upon first hearing, you think 8,000 is a lot. But when you really think about it, think about all the boys across the United States of America.
Yeah, how many are playing football, or basketball.
Because sports come to an end for everybody.
So,
for everyone.
Even Michael Jordan.
Everyone.
That I love.
Derek Jeter.
Oh, by the way, wearing new shoes today. Hadn't worn. These are all some older Nikes. Had them for a few years. But anyway, I'm not wearing Jordans.
Right. So, even for a great Derek Jeter, baseball came to an end.
Oh, yeah. Or even exactly in a sport like that. Or even if they play for a while, obviously. Some do in basketball. Even baseball, where you definitely could play for a while. 20 years for a lot of. Hank Aaron.
And that's amazing.
Amazing to play for 20 years,
right?
yeah.
So, but the point being, eventually it comes to an end. So, from high school to college, that 8,000 to 10,000 is going to dwindle down again.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? From college to minor ball,
yeah.
Dwindles down again.
Oh, yeah.
From minor to pro, dwindles down
yeah.
again. How many pro ball players are there? 700?
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah.
So under 1,000.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it was a great tournament. It was fun to see the boys.
How did the boys do? How did your son do?
They did really great.
Great.
They
kept advancing.
They kept advancing.
Why we didn't have a show last week.
That's exactly right. I actually thought that they might be bowing out really early and be back by Wednesday.
Yeah.
And they kept advancing.
Strive. Yeah, they kind of fought it.
Yeah.
Bit the grit and kind of. That's good.
But it's real competitive baseball.
Now, does he stay with this team? You were talking about this earlier, where they keep playing. Does he stay with the same travel? This is his squad that he's with through the rest of the summer into fall.
He'll stay with them for the rest of summer and through the fall, and probably next his junior year as well. Nice. Scouts all over the place. Funny story, man. I made a mistake. Out at the complex. Bobby Cox, remember Bobby Cox?
Atlanta Braves? Yes, right? Definitely Bobby Cox.
He funded a lot of this during his lifetime.
Always wore his hat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So this facility out there called Lake Point in Atlanta. This facility is beautiful.
Yeah.
All these ball diamonds, really well done.
Yeah.
Kids play on these fields, and of course, scouts all over the place, And I just got up that morning, man, threw some shorts on. I got my camera on a pole, so I look pretty official.
Yeah, right.
And I put a Texas A&M shirt on.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, sorry, man.
Hey, SEC, that's fine with me. As long as it's SEC related.
Yeah, right. So I put my Texas A&M shirt on.
You're mostly from Texas, so I can't eat you too much.
And I didn't put it together at first. I'm there at the fields, and parents are coming up and talking to me. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, they think you're scout.
Yeah, I thought, man, people are really friendly in Atlanta, man. And then all of a sudden, like a parent saying, "Hey, man, you really should take a look at my son." I'm going like,
you had shades on, maybe a hat on.
I did, and I had A&M, and I had a camera, and
Yep.
I'm doing video, and they're sitting there thinking,
trying to stay low. You're doing this, you're low key with the hat on. You got the sunglasses on.
Yeah.
Official shirt.
Oh, yeah.
You're just walking around, just kind of keeping it. You know what I mean? There you go. I mean, Doc, you probably did if you would have sent a picture. I'm like, Doc,
I looked like a
that or you're a spy.
Right.
I don't know. You're trying to fit in a little too much.
So even I had umpires between games coming up asking me how I like coaching at A&M and everything, And I said, man, I am.
You should have just kept going with it. That's great,
Yeah.
They just pulled me in actually 2 years ago for Scout. So.
I'm going to turn the program around. Yeah. Right. So anyway, a lot of fun, but that's where I've been traveling, and I'm back this week. Of course, Mom's now traveling with Gardner.
And you're there. I was saying, I know exactly.
10 days.
Where's he at now?
10 days.
He's out again for 10 days.
Yes, out down in playing at A&M.
Wow, that's right. And speaking of which, it's funny. Short little story. There's a quarterback from East Texas, Longview. One of my buddies, Jaron, that listens to this every once in a while. Shout out to him. But he has a buddy that his kid that goes. He's like, I think he's a junior this coming year. It might be a senior this coming year. I think he's a senior this coming year. Longview, Texas. They won state last year. Haynes King. Haynes King. I can't remember what his name is exactly, but he committed to Texas A&M over this last weekend.
Baseball?
Football.
Football.
Yeah, he's a quarterback. He leads the football team. Led him to state last year undefeated. And definitely, I guess Jaron's known him since he was really young, and he's always given us a hard time and hoping. But point being, he was looking at Arkansas, but I was like, he's not. Maybe when Petrino was, what I mean, when we had that great aerial assault, and that was where he'd want to go.
Right.
Just not now. Maybe if Chad Morris gets us there in two or maybe after next year, you get my point. Somehow win 9-10 games, but
when hogs fly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, but you get my point. Just a little shout out to that thing in the Texas A&M that happened over this last weekend. So
That's
a lot
nice.
of people were not too happy, at least in Arkansas country. Obviously, we're
Right.
hoping to get a good quarterback. I'm thinking, in my own opinion, I'm like, I don't think he's going to be that great, but we'll see. Anyway,
You never know.
So, point being back to July 4th, because we did miss that. Were you there for July 4th? Right?
We were traveling.
On July 4th.
We were traveling on July 4th.
So really nothing on July 4th for you.
Right. Yeah. No, we were on the road on July 4th.
Yeah.
So.
Double. Great, obviously, ran into this great recipe where we were watching this one show right before July 4th. It was, one of the travel channels, one of those shows, maybe Food Network, where they do the 5 best, they do those where they kind of travel around to different restaurants and show you amazing foods.
Right.
And one was this burger joint, which is crazy, up north. I forgot where it was. God, told her to, anyway, I know it was up north, which was crazy to think. They got 2 patties, obviously, in their own, they marinated them in their own secret stuff.
Right.
But then instead of putting cheese on top this side or the other, they got the 2 patties, piled up this awesome ball of cheese in the middle and put the 2, surrounded it. So it was one big patty with the cheese. Like, it almost and I looked at it, it reminded me of a whoopie pie. Literally, I thought I was looking at a whoopie pie.
Wow.
Yeah, but a whoopie pie burger. I was like, the whoopie burger. That's what me and Avery said. We should call it the whoopie burger. And I made them for July 4th. Oh my gosh, Doc. You see the cheese will start kind of gooing out the side of it. Amazing. Oh my gosh. So The Whoopi Burger, I'll fry you up one day.
Hey,
when
man.
I fry you up one, I'll put it on the grill.
I'll
Obviously.
do it.
Oh,
I'll
dude,
do it, man.
was.
I love a good burger,
So
man.
I did me that and some hot dogs. Had to throw a dog on the grill to keep it traditional. So
Yeah.
watch some fireworks.
We're going to be speaking about dogs a little later.
Huh?
We're going to be speaking about dogs a little later. Hot
Are we?
dogs. Hot dogs.
We are. Oh yeah.
Joey.
And the coveted. Joey and the definitely speaking of Mr. Chestnut. Half price tickets. Got to talk about this Broncos every year. Speaking of my Broncos, almost wore Broncos gear today just for this. Every year since they opened up their new, it was called Invesco at Mile High, but when they built their new stadium and tore down the original Mile High, which is tear in my eye. They tore it, 2001 I think it was. They made this deal that every home game they do 2,000. They give away 2,000 half-price tickets for all their home games. So there's obviously 8 of them.
And why do they do this?
They got. I looked up the deal, and I've tried to look it up before, and I can't find old articles now, unfortunately, because it was like 2001.
Okay.
That say exactly why. But when they wrote the deal in and made the stadium, they wrote the deal in where obviously when they released this regular season tickets, they're going to release 2,000 to each home game that'll be half price.
Wow.
In each section, they'll release like 200 here, 200 here.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So you
Okay,
see what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
So they're staggered all
2,000
over.
total.
2,000 total tickets that are half price. The rest of them obviously are full price. So I've been going for this for the past few years. First year I ever went for it. 4 years. Peyton Manning. It's 4 years ago. Peyton Manning's still playing Tom Brady. Anyway, I'm going. Oh my God, I'm going for the New England Patriots. We play in New England. I have two. Oh, point me in. Anyway, I somehow don't get them. Here's why. Let me tell you this why. So I get 4 in the cart. They're in the upper deck. I'm like, well, let me see if I can get better ones. Boom, gone. Because they'd sell out in 6 minutes, literally.
Why would you do that?
I learned then and there, and I cannot believe to this day I could have resold all the. I think I literally had 4 in the cart. I'll never forget. $130-something for 4 tickets. They're in the upper deck.
Yeah.
$130. I could have sold each one of those for $400.
Yeah. Well, so why'd you?
And I should go to went and seen Tom Brady. I mean, I don't even know. I learned my lesson there. Don't try to refresh. They sell out that fast. You should have known. Hey, you get tickets wherever they are. Get them. Take them. Take them.
That's right. You snooze, you lose. What the heck?
Well, the next couple of years, God sent me a great lesson. I got nothing. Nada. No chance. Nothing. They were gone. I'm just like, yeah. Well, the last 2 years, last year, like I've told you before, got him. Last game, and I shot for the last game of the year because Avery's family was already going out there to see because that's where she's from, Littleton. I mean, suburb of, it's
Right.
like
Right.
Plano to Dallas, essentially. She's from Littleton. Anyway, so last year we went out there. Her family was going out there to see her grandparents that still live out there, et cetera, et cetera. So we definitely got to make a trip out, because everyone else was. You don't know how much longer her grandparents are going to last, So she's got to see them one last time. Plus, she hadn't been out there in years. So, and we hadn't been out there together. I mean, obviously, the whole connection. So we made the trip. Got tickets, which was awesome. Got us 2 tickets to the last game of the year, which fit into the trip.
Who are they playing?
Last year they played the Chargers.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't care who they're playing. I just want to see the Broncos play at home.
Okay.
This
All
year,
right.
I shot.
Okay.
Yeah, so this year they came out again. I just want to give a shout out to the half-price Bronco tickets. No other team does that.
Yeah.
No other team has a sellout too.
Did you get any tickets this year?
Got 2 to the last game of the year. We may try to go out again because there's a time period where we can go. We know
Right.
because it's the last game of the year right
Right.
after Christmas. She's done with holiday. We're both
Right,
free essentially
right.
freed up with work and whatever we need to do. So we got ticket 2 again this year. This time, last year we were like in the mid-level, right in the end zone, right front row though, right there where the balcony's right in front of us. So we got to relax,
Very
which
nice.
was really nice.
Very nice.
This year though, I wanted to go side. I'm like, please let me get something on the side because we walked around. Like you walk around on that lower bowl and you see the 50-yard line, 20, 30, and you're just like, that's so, oh my God. Especially in an NFL stadium that's so much more, it's a lot bigger, so it just seems.
Right.
Anyway, so this year, got 2 about the 20-yard line, 11th row.
Wow, nice.
Yes, we're on the 11th row, 20-yard
nice.
line Broncos side.
Very nice.
Yep.
That's an outdoor stadium, right?
Yes.
There's no dome.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Yeah, they play the Chargers. You got to love the snow there. That's why the big snow
yeah,
games
right.
there they have. So we're shooting for a snow game this year again. We didn't get one last year. It was cold. It dumped the next day. That's why we didn't leave. It dumped like a foot of snow in Denver. We ended up staying an extra night.
How are the games there, man? Is it a circus atmosphere or is it like a football atmosphere?
It's a little bit of both. It's definitely like any NFL game, but definitely there like you would rate anyone, especially back in the day when Mile High was around, and it still is to this day. It would definitely be in the top 10, if not still top 5. Mile High was always top 3, top 5. If you would have rated the loudness of stadiums, especially because of much as I would pay attention back in the day. KC's always up there now. Seattle's always up there. There's in loudness and how route. And like I said, Denver Broncos, there's not there's not a franchise in the world that can say this that has 400 plus consecutive sellouts since 1970 something.
Yeah, I just
So yes, it's a little both. I mean, they're friendly. Everyone's friendly. I mean, either side. I mean, it does get rowdy at times when you have the drunk fans. Which is awesome. two of the stadiums I loved it, and I've seen obviously because I went to see it. But I went when I lived in Chillicothe, right outside of Kansas City, when I took that first job. Went to a Denver Bronco KC game, so I went to KC and saw a game there. Great game. Denver Broncos got down about 10 points. It was the year we ended up going to the Super Bowl when we broke all the records. Well, Peyton did. Went to the Super Bowl and got destroyed by Seattle, but it was that year. We were down by like 10. I was sitting in the lower level corner end zone.
Wow.
Dudes were all nice to me. What's funny, I worked for a station, their colors were red. So I wore my big, huge red coat. So that way when I walk in, I'm not wearing blue until I get in. As soon as I got to my seat, they're like, oh, man, we thought you. It was so funny, and they were all nice to me the whole time. They were super cool. But, yeah, we got down 10. Peyton with the comeback. Got a couple of pictures with him when they scored a touchdown, and they come back, and we won, I think, by 10.
Yeah.
But it was a cool game, and then we ended up losing the game last year. We lost to the Raiders, which I wasn't worried about the game. It was just my first home game ever in Denver.
The reason I ask is because, I think the Cowboy games here have just become too theatrical. It's a circus.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's quite honestly, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
I think you go to a Cowboys football game here and bands and people dancing on platforms. And,
especially he's made it. It's Jerry's World. That's what they call it, Jerry's World. He's got that big screen up there where you get these outdoor stadiums like KC, Denver, Seattle. It's loud. It's obnoxious. It's cold. It's not. You're in a stadium. You relax.
I always say that if Vince Lombardi and Tom Landry and Hank Schramm and some of the good old coaches would come back, Bud Grant, they come back and they'd walk into Dallas Cowboys
they would
Stadium.
just be like, what is this?
They would go, what happened to our game?
Yeah.
Because it seems like it's not even about the athlete anymore. It's all about just this circus atmosphere. That's why I love baseball. You don't get that.
Oh, yeah, no.
It's about the game.
Well, that's why you go, like I said, if you go to a we're not that close, but man, Kansas City, you go to a Chiefs game, you kidding me? I mean, you know what I mean? You go to, like I said, a Broncos game, there's none of that going on. I mean,
see, that's why I'm glad. This shouldn't be. Let's play football.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, it's like I said, imagine when it's, like I said, when we went to a game December 28th, 9th, whatever day it was, and it was 30 or 25, 30 degrees out. I mean, we're triple layered up. You think any of that dancing's going on?
Yeah, right.
Nah.
Right.
It's wind chill of 20.
Yeah, I can't imagine at Lambeau Field, it's...
Or even I keep forgetting Green Bay and Lambeau. So sorry, I cannot believe I can. I'm sure people are out there listening to this. Lambeau, duh, you're not saying it, but Lambeau essentially.
Right? Football, man. You're sitting on bleachers, dude.
If Mile High was still around because it was old school and old, like KC Stadium and Lambeau's those would be the top 3 old school. But you got my point. Lambeau, KC, though, those old school gridiron, it's snowing probably 2 or 3 games out of the year. At least one for sure on average. Right. Yeah, it's that old school. Yeah. Right. So let's get up. Sorry, we dove into that a little bit long. Lion King comes out. All these
tonight.
You gonna go see it
with Fulton?
Look at you.
IMAX.
I love it. I'm just. Oh man, I would. You know what? It'd be one of the things where I love to go. That's where I want to go see it. It's probably IMAX if I go see it anywhere. I'm just not into these remakes of the great animated movies they made in the 90s. They're just 2 and 1 after the other too much. I wish they'd space them out like every 2 or 3 years. And maybe you got pumped for them, but now they're just starting to push them out so many, even a couple now in a year. You know what I mean? They just did Aladdin. Now we're doing Lion King. I'm like, that's 2 major movies you could have done in 2 different years.
Right.
And they're still going to gross well, obviously. Toy Story. It's not. Well, you get my. It's not live action. They're not. You know what I mean? It's another Disney movie. So that's 3 massive Disney movies. Boom, 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 boom. It's 3 months in a row.
It's kind of like we're out of ideas. Hey, you know what we'll do?
Yeah, right. Let's just whatever 7. Jaws 10. Jason comes back from life 34. Right. Friday on 13th or Friday the 17th now, or what day are we on? I don't even know. Anyway, but another great movie, and I'm definitely gonna see this bad boy next summer. Top Gun.
Oh yeah, I heard about
Maverick.
that.
Trailer just came out.
Yeah.
Doesn't give you away too much, which I love at first. Just kind of gets you in that that because that reminds me of me doing it like that. Reminds me of old school. They had a Nintendo game. Oh, just playing that.
What were you like 4 years old when that movie came out?
No, I was born when Top Gun's either 84. Yeah, Top Gun's either 84 or 86.
I'm feeling really
old.
But
in 88.
So wait a minute. Yeah,
I fell in love with it.
It's 86.
I had planes. That was the first thing I wanted to do as a kid, and I wish I went through it. I would have been traveling all the time. I wanted to be a pilot. All right, so
bad. Where were you in 1986?
I was a 2-year-old with a football in my hand in Memphis, Tennessee.
Dude, I was in graduate school.
Yeah, exactly. You get my point. So yeah, 88, I was in love with it. I watched it a lot, and still in love with it. But yeah, now it's like one of those things like I can't wait. It's my favorite movie ever. But yeah, it's definitely cool to see him finally. With all the world that we live in now, it's gonna look great. You should have seen him flying through the canyons, and of course you can tell it's him when they're doing all this crazy crap. So cannot wait to see it. It should be just give me a decent storyline. Just don't make it too all about the
See, if you would have
flight.
if you would have been my age on a college campus at that time, you would have hated that movie as a guy.
Yeah, why?
Because now every chick actually thought you should look like
Yeah,
the
Tom
guys
Cruise.
in Top Gun.
And it was, yeah.
Especially the men's.
Hunks were a lot big. It's crazy how that hunk-itis has kind of fallen off. You know, the girls love guys, don't get me wrong, but back in the 80s, you know what I mean? Or even in the 90s with the boy bands, girls like they obsessed over a lot. I mean, I know I'm not young anymore. Maybe they still do over certain guys, but it just seemed like there were like it guys back in the day. Who's the it guy? Who's the Tom Cruise now? That girls are just like, over.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know we're old.
I'm
sure
sure
there is, but I'm
right.
like, really? Is he Tom Cruise though? Is he making
Right.
$100+ million a movie?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Because I don't know him. I don't know this. That's what I'm saying. We know movies. So what? What stud in movies is making $100+ mil and looks like? Anyway.
Back in the 80s, the girls wanted us to all play sand volleyball to see if we looked like the guys on Top Gun. Which,
I know, right? Yeah. Exactly. That scene too.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer. Talk about Val Kilmer.
Yeah, Val Kilmer, Tom Cruise. Come on, right? Yeah, shut. I hate that movie.
Their hair.
Yeah.
We can even talk about it. Their hair.
Yeah, it was perfect.
And their abs. Hey, watch me play some volleyball, girls.
That's why I'm hoping this movie is about like flabby old men.
Yeah.
Do you remember when
He's
we
still
used to
flying? That's the thing. And they still have. They bring back some of the same characters 30 years later. So it's what's awesome. That's what I'm glad. It's him. He's still flying 30 years later. That's what the kind of premise of this trailer is.
Is he a teacher
why
now?
Still leaving?
Is he an instructor?
Nope. But he's still a captain. I think he turns into one by the end of it. I'm sure he's gonna have to. But you can see the progress of this. Just give me a good story. All right. Anyway, big boxing match this weekend. 'Cause I know you've heard of him. Manny Pacquiao, ever heard of that guy? Mm-hmm. Still boxing, which is crazy. He's got a welterweight belt going for the title this weekend again. He's 61-7-2. That's a lot of fights because these days they don't fight that much. They don't get up to old school days when they'd fight 70, 80 times in a career. Oh, by the way, not only besides the political stuff, remember because he's ran for office and won,
right.
he also I didn't even see this. I didn't know he played in the PBA, the Philippines Basketball Association. I did not even know this. He averaged in his 3 seasons.
I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Right. Well, I mean, you got to imagine. He averaged 1.3 points per game in his 3 years.
How many?
1.1 or 1.3.
He's going like, I think I'm going to go back to boxing.
I remember reading through the stats. I remember seeing, and he finally, or whatever, scored a career high 4 points. Career high 4. He finally knocked down 2 baskets. Good for. I mean, he is little.
What height is the basket?
Yeah, is it
the same height?
I gotta imagine. I should have looked it up. But anyway, okay. So he's fighting Thurman tonight. He was 29-0. So he's got the belt. So. Anyway, just a great boxing matchup tonight. Undefeated versus Pacquiao. Because Pac's kind of had a great comeback lately, honestly, in the boxing world. Right. So let's see if he can keep it up. If so, wow. I mean, that dude, obviously, definitely all-time stud, but just crazy that dude's still trucking along, and all the stuff he's done, just phenomenal. Phenomenal what you can do. I mean, set your mind to, dude, where he's from. Right. You got to imagine that.
Right.
And all the stuff he's accomplished. I got to mention this. This could have been in the Dud segment, certainly, and definitely would have been dud by the government not extending this. The 200th firefighter has died from 9/11.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not from 9/11, as in, forgot how many 300 or so died in or plus. 200 have now died after 9/11 itself from an illness created from the effects from 9/11. This guy from cancer.
Yeah.
Extend the bill, which I'm like laughing. I'm like laughing at like really, but you get my point. 9/11 only extended it, so 9/11 2001. Only extended it 19 years to 2020. You think they're only going to need help for 19 years? Okay, you're good. You're cut off. Those people were going to live like 50, 60 years, 70.
Yeah.
And maybe if they have to pay for stuff, and that's why they're trying to extend it to 2090, which is crazy. It is long, but
politics, man.
It's
politics.
It is, but extend it for them.
It's politics.
What they did, extend that for sure. Quick little what's up, Doc. Did you see the story about the middle school assistant principal in Houston? I'm sure you saw this in the what I gave you. But
I did not. So I just glanced at that and I said, oh, my gosh. So, okay, you fill me in.
We really don't know where they came about, although me and Avery were speculating earlier that obviously this guy must have been texting his genital or private or nude pics to obviously a student. He must have been hitting on a student because there's no way that students are now circulating this on social media, and they're like messages on Instagram or Snapchat. Obviously, he must have originally sent it to a girl. The girl's like, oh, man, look what Principal Dick, literally, look what Principal Dick sent me. And you're like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, freaking Richard. There we go. That's his name, Richard Dick. You get my point. But look at Richard sent me. I'm like, but you get my point. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? But that's how I'm thinking it's how it circulated because no one even knows. That's why even in the articles that have come out, parents are wondering and speculating where it first originated because they don't know. It was, certain students they question. Obviously, they've already been able to question, which they are keeping their identities unknown. But were they, I got it, and I sent it to so and so. But yeah, they're trying to figure out the origination from it, and that's what I'm thinking. It's going to be him. He sent those pictures to a student. He had to have for the students to now circulate it around school. What's up, Doc?
Well, I'll tell you, man, it points to a much larger problem. What's happened in our society and in the world at large is sex has been reduced to recreation.
Yeah.
It's no longer sacred. It's a recreational activity, and once it's reduced to recreational activity outside the marital relationship and procreation, then everything's game. Everything's fair game, including children, including adults sending stuff to children, and pedophilia.
It's going to happen.
That's right. So what's the story itself is sad, but what it points to at large is even sadder.
Yeah.
It's
Did you see so much of this lately with with obviously the pitcher situation, and literally just Herm Edwards always remember this. Don't press send. You know what I mean? When you're send, it's gone. It's out there. The whole lately you see, and it's which is crazy. It's usually the females with male students, but regardless, either way, where you see the student hooking up with, or whatever you want to call it, having sexual relations essentially with a student. And it's happening so much more often now. And obviously there's more of it, so it's going to happen more. But it's, like you said, it's now become such a recreational thing to where, and like you just saying this because of marijuana, and it's big subject of I love anyway. It's something I'm definitely pro for. But one of those things where it's going to become more accepted. You're just going to see it everywhere. People are going to be smoking. You have to get used to it. Where sex has become more you're saying recreational.
It's
more
recreational.
It's where you're just going to see people maybe making out over here.
It's
They're going to be girls are going to be wearing a lot less clothing now, or it's just the world we live in. And now, like you said, where things become more and more acceptable, and that's just how things are going to be. And I think a lot of that has to do too, where, well, I can't wear this, or and the whole me thing lately. Whatever it has to be with. There's all kinds of different societies, or even like the guy thing, or like. Who's the stupid director that is, I guess, groped a lot of women? What was his name? Weinhardt. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, that movie guy.
Yeah, you get my point.
Right.
That whole situation where the females lately have finally been speaking up, you know what I mean? Which is totally, they should have been doing that from the get-go, I wish. But you get my point. And that's the thing lately. And then you get my point where people are going to be like, well, you know what I mean? Everything's going to be, hey, I can do this now. Where everything should be, you should accept this, you know what I mean? Which I love people to be, yes, you should accept me, but with everything in life, there should be boundaries, rules, lines. Now that's just kind of, those are all kind of blurred and grayed out.
Correct.
In a lot of areas.
Correct.
And I think, like I said, because it seems like a lot of it has to do with, well, if I want to wear shorts if I came in wearing shorts like this every day and I made you deal with it because I want to wear shorts like that, even, you get my point. That's just the world we live in.
It's a wacky world, man.
Yeah. So anyway, but I think it speaks to the world it speaks out loud to the larger problem.
That's right.
Daily, though, I got to talk about got to get some Arkansas in here, right? I just saw that because it popped up in the news because of course British Open, we're getting to that, and then I'm like, okay, I see that he got denied there. Nope, you're not, no, because the Open, that's old school. We're not letting you, if they didn't over here at the U.S. Open, we're definitely not going to let you do it over here.
Correct.
So he goes over to the Barbasol. Child, I don't know if it was Barbasol Open, Barbasol Championship. So, just put a little Barbasol on. Hopefully he'll win a lot of Barbasol if he wins this tournament. But anyway, he got to use it there. He got accepted.
Which, by the way, never, ever put anything on your face that you shoot out of a can.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what yeah.
And think about what's necessary to preserve that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, let me rub that on my face and shave.
So he shot a 1 under 71. So, hey, respectable. He's like 9 shots off.
Yeah, 71. I didn't think that was that bad, man.
Yeah, hey.
Of course, I'm not a golfer, but.
Yeah, hey, at that age, with the problems I know he definitely has, but he got to use a cart. But, hey, shot a 71. Even when they got out there, it's like 78. Hey, just 1 under is not so bad. Let's do a little catch-up, especially with the sports going around. U.S. women's national team, they did amazing. Undefeated, obviously, got to be. Oh, it don't have to be. I guess you could have lost in the group stage or tied. But straight on through, not only did they set the record, obviously, for most goals ever in a Women's World Cup, but they just went back-to-back and won on. They just won it. So they beat Netherlands 2-0 in the finals. Great game.
Right.
Great match, I should say.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, set the record for most goals in World Cup. Rapinoe wins Golden Boot, which is her and Alex Morgan. Anyway, they were, I think, both tied with they both had 6, but Rapinoe had more assists, so she wins the Golden Boot. Alex Morgan wins a Silver Boot. Rapinoe also wins the Golden Ball, which is player of the whole entire thing. So pretty much MVP essentially.
Right.
So just what they should have done, lived up to the expectations, especially with all the stuff, like always, stuff kind of going around, like especially right around the first couple of matches and the Trump Rapinoe thing, where
right.
Rapinoe says, like, man, just because, and how do you not understand this? This happens to you all the time. They set you up for questions, and all you hear is the question. She was obviously asked, hey, blah 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 blah. She was asked a question about winning. And you get my point. She was asked a question. I forgot exactly what it was anymore. And then Trump responds with some, well, you should concentrate on your next match instead of winning. I'm like, she was just asked a question. That's like when you're asked questions all the time.
So she was asked a question about
about winning the whole World Cup and something about winning it all, or I forgot what it all. And she, just trying to get in. It was a very modest answer, but then Trump comes back with, something around the long.
Well, the lesson there. Politics should stay out of sports, and sports should stay out of politics.
Exactly, and dude should stay off Twitter.
Just stay, the sports. I don't care what athletes think about government.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That
Even
I don't care what a government official thinks about athletics and sports.
Unless somehow they
played
college. They were a great college basketball player, and you get my point. Maybe if Obama was kind of fun, I like what he did a little bit, but point being, if maybe Obama played for where'd he go to school? I don't remember anymore. But you get my point. Played college basketball for the school he went to. So every year when he did this little bracket thing, you're like, oh, cool. Well, he went to school so let him have his fun. But yeah, dude, don't you have a little bit more stuff to worry about?
Well, and two, I just think we should just stop the whole inviting athletes to the White House, regardless of who's in the. Let's stop elevating things to a level that they don't need to be elevated. I mean, how about invite all the doctors that save lives and children's life. How about bring that team?
Yeah.
How about bring that team to the White House?
Yeah, it'll be a big team.
Yeah, right. Well,
never ending.
Yeah. So I mean,
let's get on to something a little bit more fun.
Crazy.
Wimbledon.
Yes.
I mean, literally, are you kidding me? Wimbledon, another great matchup between Nadal and Federer. Round 40. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Nadal finally takes an L in this one because he's up in the series. I guess it's like 24-16 now. Yeah, obviously makes sense. Federer gets the best of Nadal. A great matchup, though. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Which led to a great final with Novak Djokovic, who's number one versus number 2 in the world.
Right.
Amazing final set. Had to go to the final set. They went to 13-12. I mean, are you kidding me? It was like a 3 hour, 3.5, 4. I forgot what had in it. It was over 3 hours, 3.5, 4 hours
Longest.
probably. Very long time. But yeah, great final. I wish I wanted Federer, because now it's crazy. Nadal with all these wins lately. Nadal, I think the overall tally, like Federer has 20 to 21 majors. Nadal has like 17. It's like he's only 3 or 4 behind. I almost want to say it's 2 behind because when I was listening right before this started, before they actually ended up playing, in the match, it was leading up to it. They do that little segment where they're all sitting there talking at the round table. They were talking about the last time that what I can't even talk right now. What their majors were. The lady was talking. It was the host. She was like, Federer's at 20, Nadal's at 18 is what I want to say. But she was like, the last time they were close. This is the point of all this mumbling and stumbling and fumbling. The last time they were this close was when Federer had 2 and Nadal had 0.
Wow.
It was that. I know. I said, because I was like, wow. So it's close again.
Right.
So they have not been this close. And that was like back in 2000, I forgot. But it has not been this close since it was 2-0.
Right.
So, because Federer did pull away for a while, big time. And now to Nadal lately, because Federer, he's good and he just hadn't been winning them.
Right.
Hadn't been winning many finals, majors lately.
Right.
So, because I love Federer. Either one of them,
too.
it's just great to see either one. I mean, you have 2 guys in this era that have 38 major. So talking about tennis, there's your rival. I mean, we've bannered about this about the last month or two about tennis, but there's for the last 2 decades essentially.
Right.
They took up the 2000s for the first 2 decades. Right. There's your rivalry for sure.
Yeah.
So and now what's going to take on after them will be definitely the question. So NBA moves, got to talk about this. Kawhi picks the Clippers. I don't know, I guess because he was in talks with Paul George. I don't know, but even that much. I'm like, you want to go try to be the better team in LA with LeBron out there, which obviously we mentioned the Brow joined LeBron. And all these other teams have made smaller the moves too to pick up other players. We're just mentioning the big guys. But yeah, I mean, so now you're going to be, which will be a great matchup. Are you kidding me? It'll be a great.
Well, he's from there.
Exactly. He's from that area. I understand, but the Clippers, I mean, why don't you just go ahead and just go out and go, I guess, and that's cool.
Listen,
maybe he did. Maybe he did want to go play with LeBron and go, you know what? Let's go win them all. Let's go do the Warriors thing. I don't want to beat you. Maybe, because I do like Kawhi. Maybe that's his mentality. He doesn't want to go out there and join LeBron.
Listen, he went to the Toronto Raptors.
So exactly.
So you know what? He's going
I would love it. My point being, that'd be a great Christmas Day matchup. Those are big games. That'd be LA versus LA. I think LeBron versus Kawhi.
I actually think it's refreshing, man.
Yep, it'll be great to see that. Great, honestly, in a way. So we'll see. It'd be fun to honestly kind of watch to see what happens. I won't watch it year round. I'll watch certain games probably. Kyrie Irving, KD, DeAndre Jordan go to Brooklyn. I don't know what they thought in this. You don't remember when they tried to do this like a decade ago? That like they were kind of like the washed up group. I know they're a little bit more washed up, but it was Kevin Garnett. I'm mixing new players and old players. Paul Pierce,
yes,
Kevin Garnett, Joe Johnson were the 3 big, if you don't remember that went to Brooklyn around about 10 years ago. I forgot when it was, but it was about 10-ish years ago. Didn't accumulate to nothing.
Right.
I mean, nothing really. And those are 3 great players. and they're all different at what they do. Well, anyway, but regardless, I just don't see it happening for them. We could see. I mean, we'll see if Kyrie Irving stay because he didn't look. He didn't look good at all with the Celtics. I mean, he looked okay with the Celtics, but he just didn't look like he liked it. You're gonna like it with the Nets now. You didn't like it with the Celtics, but now you're gonna like it with Brooklyn. What? Because you're with Jay-Z because he partially owns a team.
Well, look, I'm stunned that Kevin Durant goes to Brooklyn Nets.
And that too. Yeah, KD too.
Right?
I mean, I know you're kind of New York now, so you are in a big city essentially market.
Yeah, but here's the deal, man. If anybody asked me to name NBA basketball teams, I would start off naming all the teams I could name, and I promise you I would never get to the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
I don't even think about Brooklyn Nets when
because it's Brooklyn now. But I remember the Nets. You think of Nets, but it doesn't. But point being, why don't you go to New York? And that it points me to this, which I didn't almost put an error on. I forgot to. What's that say about the Knicks then?
Yeah,
no one wants to play for them. Yeah. No one.
Yeah.
Melo darted like it. I mean, I get my point. But you get my point. They and now, wow. What's his? Who's the center we got from the Knicks that plays for Porzingis?
Yeah, NBA man. No
Knicks, what's going on? And I hate all those because everyone, like a lot of those New York people, there's a lot of analysts that I watch it, and they're just like, or like even like Spike Lee. You got to Spike. He goes to all the games. You got to feel terrible for him. I was like, damn, poor guys can't get anything. All those guys go to Brooklyn over going to the New York.
Yeah.
Anyway,
basketball.
In the weird trade here, Russell Westbrook swaps places with Chris Paul, so he goes to Houston to go team up with his old pal James Harden. I almost said Jason Harden, but James Harden, Dudge. But you get my point. The beard, James Harden. So that'll be cool to see them play together and see what they do in Houston. Especially you've seen what Westbrook could do pretty much solo, essentially, in OKC. Poor Chris Paul. We'll see if OKC keeps him. If he kind of gets, I could see him maybe getting shipped off, and because he, I'm sure in his final years wants to win something.
He's in his twilight.
Yeah, hey, a great player. I love CP3. Was with the Jordan brand for a while. Still might be. I can't remember. So I had some actually for a while. When I went to New Orleans, made a trip down there one year when he played for New Orleans. Got me some CP3 Jordans at one point in time, which is awesome. But yeah, so. A lot of mix-up, a lot of shake-up. We'll see where it all ends up. Warriors lost a lot of players. They lost AI a lot. So we'll see.
I think their dynasty's over, man.
We'll see. It'll show if it's a real true dynasty if they can actually win now. Pick up a couple other extra pieces and the true pieces as they usually were. Oh, Donkey. What's it? Gosh,
a new house they'll be playing in.
But yes, Curry, Thompson. We'll see if that's the key three. Draymond Green, Thompson, and Curry. We'll see if those three can continue. If so, my point being, then it's a good dynasty. Otherwise, there's been no talent besides whatever LeBron and his players, whatever team he could gather around him. There has been no talent in the NBA. Really.
Yeah, right. And
team-wise.
And disappointed too. KD, I heard that KD wanted to leave the Warriors because he was tired of being second fiddle.
Well.
Really?
Scottie Pippen never had a problem with that.
Ego.
Yep. Let's get to the British Open, or as we call it, the Open, and it's on hand at the Dunluce course at Royal Port. And I've yet to hear them say this. Portress is what I'm thinking is what they call it. But yeah, Royal Portress, which has hosted only one championship before, one Open. Back in 1951. What were you doing back in 1951?
I was 10 years prior to being born.
There you go. So you get my point. That's the thing. That's the only time it's ever hosted. So none of these players are probably too familiar with it. My man JB Holmes, he looks just like one of my men, and one of my groomsmen, I should say, in my wedding, Caleb Schmeckenbecker. Caleb, shout out to you. But he looks it's so funny. If I showed you JB Holmes and Caleb.
Say that
name.
Yeah,
his last name, characters, 7, I think I forgot how many is in it, is more than Joshua Allen Smith. There's more characters in Schmeckenbecker than there is in Joshua Allen Smith.
His last name is Schmeckenbecker?
I can pull it up for you on my phone.
Schmeckenbecker. How many Schmeckenbeckers are there in the United States?
If you've seen one, you're related to him. Let me tell you that. So
what kind of name is Schmeckenbecker?
It's a great name.
Yeah, but what kind?
What origin?
Yes.
I don't know. I should ask him. It's got to be obvious. Somewhere in Europe.
I mean, you're best friends with this guy, and you haven't never asked him?
I know I have, but I forget that stuff.
That would be the first question I asked a guy with a name with Schmeckenbecker.
And then you remember it forever. I'm sure I did back in, you know how long I've known him?
Okay.
Since I was 5 years old. So I'm sure I remembered back when I was 18, but anymore, you think that's on the top of my list?
If you would have introduced me to a guy with the name Schmeckenbecker, my first thing would have been,
let's get him on the show one day.
Where are you from, man?
He's from here.
Well, no, but where's your origin? What's the background of that?
I'll text him as soon as the show's over.
Yeah, I need to know that.
But I'll show you. It's Schmeckenbecker.
Our listeners are wondering, Schmeckenbecker? I've never even heard that name.
Great, right? Dad always remembers. As soon as I bring up Schmeckenbecker, he immediately remembers him.
Yeah, well, what's his first name?
Caleb.
Caleb Schmeckenbecker.
There you go. There you go.
I love it, man.
Yeah. So my man Caleb Schmeckenbecker, JB Holmes at the top of the leaderboard at 800. Tommy Fleetwood right behind him. Jordan Spieth and Brooks Koepka are two Americans, besides obviously JB Holmes. kind of in the mix. They're both at 500. So look, Jordan, you've been doing this lately. You've been shooting good at, first couple. But let's get weekends where it counts. So let's see if Jordan can carry it over into the weekend. I'd love to see Spieth.
Right.
At least they're on Sunday for sure. Even Koepka. I love, Koepka lately. He's been playing real well. Tiger, first round, shoots a 78. Trying to make the cut today. That's the name I mentioned. Doesn't make the cut. Second time in his career, he's missed multiple cuts in a season. And at a major. So only the second time in his career he's missed multiple cuts in a season at majors.
He's done.
Yeah, right. After he just won the Masters. And it just said this the other day, actually, before I saw him in the first round.
Yeah. Blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, man.
Oh yeah, he's not done. I think. Yeah, right. He just, and like he said, he's having trouble trying to gather that form he had for a week. It's hard.
Done.
Being Tiger Woods.
Done.
I don't believe so. You think he's done?
Thanks for the memory.
Yeah. Right. Watch him come out and win the Masters again next year, and I'll be like, yeah, here he goes again. Now let's get to your Midsummer Classic and the Home Run Derby,
yes.
which was great, by the way.
Fantastic.
I mean, all rookie final.
Yeah.
And in the final round, it went 23-22. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better final, essentially.
Right.
With rookies in it, which is cool. Now you're cheering for rookies. Never been in a spot like this ever before in their life. And now on top of the fact they're in one person wins by one, great.
Yeah, well.
I don't like the new setup. I've never have. I like the old school setup way better. But still.
Oh, you do? I love the new setup.
I've never been a fan of they hit way too many in my opinion. I like the old school way.
The ball's juiced up, for the home run derby. You know that, right?
That's fine with me, but I liked it back in the old days when Mark McGwire literally hit 27 with you get my point.
Yeah.
That was something. Not when Guerrero breaks the record with 29 in a round. I mean, and hits 91. Imagine what Mark McGwire would have hit back. He would have had 191.
Well, because he was doped up and yeah. But
I'm just saying.
Right.
Even Griffey would have hit 171.
Yeah, right.
Because Griffey was always he's the only one I think ever to win 3 times.
I would have loved to seen Griffey.
Griffey's the only one ever to win 3 times. That'll beat you.
I would love to see Griffey in this format.
Yeah, he would destroy these cats.
It would have been fantastic.
That swing, I'd love it. I need to get back into watching it because even watching Guerrero last week, phenomenal. For Guerrero Jr.
Right.
I mean, and talk about even his dad, Vlad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
True player.
The home run derby is entertaining, man.
Oh,
that's what it's designed to do.
I'm old school. I like that old school setup. I'm about old school. I like the old school.
And when it was an exhibition, it was fine, but it was boring.
Yeah.
This is for fan appeal.
Yeah.
This is a much better format.
I just like the old school because it was more true of how many can you really head out with this many at bats essentially.
Right.
Hey, let's get to the game itself, which our boy from the Rangers had a lot to do with that big W for the AL. AL wins 4-3.
Yeah.
Well, and by the way, did you know that was a first pitch and an All-Star debut? I think that's the first time ever anyone's hit a first pitch All-Star debut home run. That was his first pitch, by the way.
First pitch.
And it was his first pitch, and it was an All-Star debut.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Home run.
That's going up. That's getting in the box.
I tried to record it so that way I could put it on Stud and Dud, and I messed up because I watched that live, by the way. And I was trying to record. I get it on my phone. I rewound it. I was sitting there watching. I'm like, oh, it's cool, Joe. And then boom, he hits it out. I'm like, I was just like, wow, it's crazy. The timing.
Yeah, right.
When you watch stuff like that, you're like, wow, crazy timing. And I messed up on the anyway.
And it's not, and what I love about the MLB All-Star game, unlike the All-Star basketball game, it's actually a real game.
Oh, it is.
It's a real game.
Well, there's meaning behind it. Why? That's the main reason why. Because the winner, and that's what I don't like about it. To me, it should be the team with the best record.
No, that's done now. They
did do that.
It's not.
The winner doesn't. When did that stop?
Maybe a year or two ago.
Gotcha. So it has been recently.
Yeah. So no, that All-Star game is just the All-Star game. But
then you still see how great they were playing. Then yeah.
Correct.
Exactly. Well, even in the NFL, the Pro Bowl. Well, maybe it was in the '90s. This shit was still played somewhat because there were hits. I forgot who it was. Oh, Sean Taylor, who God rest his soul. Even a lot of point being into the late '90s, early 2000s, they'd still hit.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, about that early 2000s, it became what it is now, and it's just like, why don't you play flag football now? Essentially, you might as well just play flag football, not on the beach because you want to tear legs up, but might as well play flag football.
Well,
now.
Correct. And the NBA All-Star game, forget it.
It's just it's no defense on either one of them essentially anymore. I mean, it's who's going to score the most points. So exactly, they play to actually win the game.
Correct.
Which is great to see. So how about them apples? Great for Joey Gallo, first pitch and an All-Star debut, solo shot to help. Literally, if you don't get that.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Stud or Dud segment. Let's get into it. So, The Nathan's hot dog eating contest is definitely, it's kind of got, I think it's gotten to its kind of peak. It's peaked out. I don't watch it anymore.
Let's hope so, man.
Yeah, I think it's peaked out. Certainly so. It had its run, and I think a lot of it has to do with my man, who I liked a lot, and I always tell too, and I hate that's one thing I don't like about Americans. Kind of push him away. Like at first they cheered him on. Like at the appointment they did a 30 for 30 for the hot dog eating contest, and they did this. It was cool the way they set it up. That ESPN actually did a 30 for 30 for these guys, and in the world of eating in the Major League Eating, MLE. It's like the Major League Eating. It's literally a major. So they call it a sport. Literally, they call it a sport. So my man Kobayashi, you remember him? You remember the little Japanese? I think he was Japanese. Anyway, comes over. He's 5'8", 125 pounds, and the first Nathan's one that he did like 2000, 2001. The record was 25 hot dogs, 25 and a half. So he lines up with all these, and especially now it's not even like it was. You should have seen the video because it's old school footage, and these guys are like almost like they're lined up in a street. There's like maybe 100 people watching, if that, if not maybe 50. And then of course that's why even Kobayashi comes out, cute little. Always loved him. Like a lot of those guys are because they're soft spoken. Even how he was talking over there, and I'm pretty sure in Japan, they don't. Like when you're watching a game, we boo. Boo. We don't. They said we don't boo. We don't. They don't do that kind of thing. We respect our opponent, even if we don't like the call. We're not going to boo. Blah 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 blah. So anyway, point being, he's like, I come out and he sees all these like a lot of those guys back in the day. They were just 6'5", 400 pounds. I mean, that was just the big dudes essentially. That, and you would see these dudes just try to pal in how much they could eat.
Right.
Well, he comes in and little as can be. Record is 25 and a half. Oh, by the way, like I said, and I can't remember if the record holder was there, but there were 10, 15 guys lined up, because they get into it because he has a technique. He learns obviously he learned at an early age too that he could eat a lot, in a setting. But then he learns a technique with any food. You have to learn how to get it down, swallow, blah 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 blah. If you're gonna eat a lot, yeah, it is kind of disgusting, honestly.
Kind of.
Well,
it is.
This dude's ripped though too. That's at the end. They be like, because I love the promoter in a way. He was good. Like, where do these hot dogs where do these hot dogs even go? Look at these. Because he afterward, he'd raise his shirt up and show his six pack after he'd eat 50 plus 60 hot dogs. Anyway, so I say 50 because point being, boom, they start off, boom, and he's just flying them down. He gets to about 40 and people are stopping because they're just so full and they're doing this. Because now the record's broken. He's at 30. People were like, the guy on the show, like people were getting on their phones like, oh my God, he's breaking. The record was 25 and a half. He eats 50. Doubles the record like that. He's like 18, 17. So I forgot how old he was. He was super young. Everyone literally is just like, soft-spoken kid though. Keeps breaking the record. But yes, here comes Joey Chestnut along. Finally, American. All these Americans like, yes, finally American. And that's what I didn't like because that's what it was. And so you'd see these events and USA. Like, this is hot dog eating contest. Like, this isn't USA versus Japan now, people. And that's what they did. They kind of turned Chestnut into the hero and poor old Kobayashi into the villain. And that's how he felt. So eventually in 2010, he start doing his own thing. He's like, I'm done with this whole. They competed for about a year, and it was a great little comp. Because Kobayashi would come in and he still has he'd beat him in burgers or he'd beat him in barbecue. I think tacos. I think he still does every year. Still holds a record for tacos, but. Then here comes Chestnut. But point being, you see this Chestnut, and he just is. I wish I would have wrote down some of the stuff he said, but it was so cocky. I'm glad. It wasn't his stomach that was hurting. It wasn't his mouth that was hurting. It was his stomach. I shut him up. I'm like, man, you're eating hot dogs, bro. You're not competing for the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Are we kidding ourselves here? Are we really kidding ourselves here, Joey? And by the way, Joey Chestnut. And I know I was just mentioning size, but once you develop a style, it's just like anyone. He's 6'1", 230 versus 5'8", 125. You're telling me if you're that size difference, but learn the same technique essentially and learn how to eat fast, which one do you think 9 times out of 10 might eat more? If you're logical. I don't know anyone can eat. You get my point. But I'm like, dude, you are bigger. You have both learned how to eat super fast. Yeah. You are like this much.
All right.
Anyway.
I'm going to just say this.
I think it was hilarious.
You've given way too much thought to Joey Chestnut and the hot dog eating
I thought it was hilarious. I just want to get back to it.
Goodness.
We talked about it, and I would have just briefly mentioned it, but man, it was on. I thought it was a good 30 for 30. They brought it up. But yeah.
I can't even watch it, man. It's
there's
disgusting.
There's some of the ones they do. There was one they did that Kobayashi ended up winning early on. Brain eating contest. Yes, are you kidding me?
Yes.
One of the cool things I remember seeing that to bring it up. I was like, I wonder if they bring it. And it was right when I turned it on to 30 for 32. I just caught it. I'll never forget back in the day, and I was like, oh yeah, you know who Kobayashi was, the big hot dog eating guy, and the guy could eat anything essentially. He's the world eating champion. Put him on. It was called Man versus Animal or something like. It was on Fox. The show lasted a season or two, and in one of the episodes, it was him versus a bear, and how many hot dogs they could eat in 10 minutes. He lost only by like 10. He said he was pissed. Like I remember, like in that
The bear beat him?
Bear beat him, but in the special, Kobayashi was pissed because he said when they practice it, because they got to practice them, because literally they're like 15 feet from each other. And the trial run, whenever they did it, like just to see how it'd go, Kobayashi actually beat him supposedly. But yeah, but him versus a bear on TV.
Who comes up with this stuff, man?
People that ain't. That's golden back in 2003. People were like, what a man or a dude versus the bear eating hot dogs. I gotta check this out. All right, so how about this super dud in Dallas? I'm not gonna mention any names, but anyway, gets his fifth. Gets in a head-on collision this over the weekend.
I didn't hear this. This is all new. This is new to me,
I saw the
man.
story this morning, but I guess head-on collision this weekend killed 2 women. Unfortunately, it was he already prior. Now once they figure out who, obviously you don't know after the wreck, and now it comes out he had 5 DWIs. 5. Just got off probation last week from his latest one, and his breathalyzer thing, his little alcohol detection device that's in his car, the little thing that you have to, when people get after they get their first one.
Right.
That should only happen maybe after their second one. After 5, that's what it goes to. Avery was saying, I was like, after 3, forgot what she said. She's like, no, after 3, take his license away and should go to jail. Yeah. License is it's gone forever after 3 DWIs, he's not learning his lesson.
Well, he'll still drive without it, so
you get my point, and that's the thing. But at least yank it to where he doesn't even at least have it.
Right.
I mean, so many means of you got bikes nowadays. You got Uber, you got Lyft, you got buses. Come on. But I could not believe that he has 5 now, essentially a 6th one, killing 2 people. Now their funeral's coming up.
Well, I would assume that he's probably going to see some jail time now.
I would hope. I would seriously. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Just don't get it. But let's get to a great stud moment. 50th anniversary of the moon landing. Oh, my gosh, Doc. What were you doing? 1969.
I was just a little kid, man. I still remember, though, parents and aunts and uncles.
Gathering around TVs, I'm guessing.
Correct, right? And everybody gathering around the TV set.
What time was it? Do you remember? I should have looked it up. Do you remember what time it was when they landed, or whenever they were?
I
if
do
it was
not,
day,
I do
not.
not. Yeah, I do not. But yeah, it was a remarkable feat, man.
I mean, nuts to think. I can't imagine being around during that time.
That's a remarkable feat.
The race to space, essentially.
Well, it's a remarkable feat when you really think about the technology at that time.
Oh, yeah.
And you had more technology in your pocket.
Oh, and this thing, too, by the way, that came about, which is awesome to speak of, because I was actually watching this morning. Anyway, I forgot what show, but they're talking about the moon landing and things that came of it. And NASA, right here, this GoPro,
yes,
one of the eventual inventions, because they had to have these mini cameras to take out there to space to record stuff.
Yeah. And
that was one of them. It wasn't a GoPro, but it was something just like it. And that's where GoPro and all these other different inventions have come about since.
Right.
One of them right there. Thank you, NASA. Well, thank you, space.
Well, the courageous, think about getting in that.
Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin.
Right, getting in that rocket ship, man.
Studs, super studs.
They knew.
Looking down back at Earth, and you just see kind of half of it, and there's a little glimmer of the rest of it.
Yeah, well, they knew that odds are that they may not be coming back.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't even. And of course, people. Oh, that was the people with the fake. Did
you read a letter that was written in case it went south? That was going to be read by Richard Nixon.
Oh yeah. Actually, that was one of the things we were talking about too earlier. I didn't really, because I'm doing stuff in the background. I was trying to write down as much as I could.
Yeah, so they were prepared, man.
Yeah,
they
literally.
even had
the letter ready
for the President of the United States to read.
I mean, just surreal to think about. But yes, great to see 50th anniversary. I'm sure you'll see a lot of, especially it's awesome to see it's on a Saturday tomorrow. So hopefully they're going to be you'll see a lot of shows on it. Watch it, see how cool it was, and see how 50 years ago.
Amazing, man. 50 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, 50 years ago. I mean,
yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Great, literally way to kind of end and cap off the show there. Literally, just thinking about it, I cannot even imagine. If they did that now, I'd be like, God, I want to see someone walk on. Like, I wish they'd go back just so we could imagine the technology now and how clear it would be. Obviously, we have little drones all over Mars, so we get to see that all the time. Lately, I remember one of the ones we were watching, one of the nightly news, and I think it was nightly news, but it was a picture of Mars. One of the ones, again, of course, it's a red everywhere, and you see off in the distance, something up in the sky, and you see like a shimmer. People were thinking maybe it was a UFO or some spacecraft. And of course, NASA comes out saying it's some kind of glare from the lens and being out and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, point being, you get my point. We're out there in Mars all the time roaming around. And I know there's cameras you can pull up online that are, certain cameras on Mars that you can pull up and look at right now. You can pull them up and see where they're at and what they're looking at, which is just cool. Crazy to think. So hopefully eventually, and that's what I'm so hate. The whole budget and the deficit. I'm like, we're never paying. Just create money for whatever. You get my point. We're not backed by. You think what are we backed by anymore? We're not backed by some. Please, just create the paper for the things we need to create paper for. I wish they would. Like, my gosh, are we kidding ourselves anymore? That's never getting paid off, people. Let's live a little. I mean, my God, you kidding me though? We're never paying off any of that $1 trillion debt. Well, while we keeping track of it, what are we backed by too? On top of the fact, we're not backed by coin or gold anymore, are we? No.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, I'm just saying, come on, let's. I don't want to go get a 45-minute MRI anymore. Come on, where's my MRI? Where I walk in and I go, shoot. I'm like, thank you, Josh Smith. That was. Here's your results.
Right. I
mean, come on. Anyway, I'm just, we need to maybe come up with
You're wound up
Josh's
today,
rants.
Man. Yeah, no kidding. Man.
On next week's show, check in with all things sports. We'll see what's also going. We got a few things to talk about. Let's get in another guest sometime soon. Got a chef maybe coming in sometime soon. We definitely got a couple
NFLer coming in.
Got a couple of names. I got a couple. So
awesome.
Let's get some names rolling in here. Some people's got a third person to talk to. Get them in the chamber of questions. Hopefully everyone enjoyed that last week. By the way, little best of chamber of.
I love that, man.
Yeah, it's the chamber.
Chamber.
I gotta say it, So, but yeah, and definitely also let's talk about a good subject next week. But middle of summer, your favorite summer vacation destination.
Oh man, easy.
Good. So let's talk. We'll dive into it. You can't just that's what it is. Let's dive into it. Why?
You will be stunned.
I'm ready. Mine. I'll be going to mine in about a month, so I can't wait.
Yeah.
So mine's just locked in already. But so we'll both go over ours, which I can't wait. All that and much more. Don't forget, as usual, subscribe, iTunes, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spotify. To hear all the episodes, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and studdandud.com. Get all the episodes there. Get all your info there. All the links.
Right.
Thank you for listening.
Hey, man.
We're back again.
We're back.
We're back, baby.
See, the rust is knocked off, man.
It's kind of getting knocked off. Until next week, I'm Josh Smith.
I'm Bob Lawrence.
Peace.